Coronavirus is out of control in London. The Mayor has declared a major incident, ordering Londoners to stay at home. Tonight, coronavirus is out of control and it is getting worse. A major incident is declared in London as services reach crisis point. We'll have the latest on what this declaration means for Londoners and if restrictions could tighten. Also ahead. Good evening. Coronavirus is out of control in the capital. Hospital admissions are spiralling. The ambulance service is under severe pressure. The Mayor has declared a major incident, saying the threat this virus poses to our city is at crisis point. In the majority of acute hospital trusts in London, patient levels are higher than at the peak of the first wave. They are on the verge of being overwhelmed. 1 in 30 people in London now has coronavirus. In some parts of the capital, it's as high as 1 in 15. The total number of deaths has now risen above 9,000. A stark warning from Sadiq Khan today. If we do not take immediate action now, he said, our NHS could be overwhelmed and more people will die. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has the latest. Chris Hobson is the Chief Executive of NHS Providers. Mr Hobson, thank you for joining us this evening. The Mayor has declared a major incident. How worried are you about this? In Simon's report then from a medical staff talking about this unprecedented demand. They've never had to cope with anything like this before, and we are hearing about the NHS services being possibly overwhelmed. In reality, practically speaking, what does that mean? In Simon's report mentioned there, the fact that this lockdown seems to be different from the first. We still have places of worship that are open, for example. We have click and collect. We still have places where you can go and buy a coffee takeaway. Should that change, given the dire circumstances that we seem to be in right now? And Chris, this is my final question to you. I mean, what the Mayor is saying today as well, it's a very, very strong message to Londoners. In particular, there is that minority, I think, there's a small tranche of people who don't really believe that things are as bad as the frontline workers are saying. Well, as well as pressure on the health service to care for coronavirus patients, they are also under huge pressure to roll out the vaccine as quickly as possible. Today, centres opened in Chingford, but as Katie Barfield reports, it was challenging from the very start. Well, the impact of so many coronavirus patients in hospital is the effect on patients who need treatment for other illnesses. Dr. Kuram Khan. Well, now, anyone arriving into the capital's airports will now need a negative COVID test before they arrive. This is something the bosses at Heathrow Airport have been calling for since last April. But the Transport Secretary said new measures were needed because of the new strains of the virus. Martin Stew reports. Police are hunting for a fraudster who gave a fake COVID-19 jab to an elderly woman in southwest London. The man who... Well, for parents thinking about what to do with their children this weekend, one key difference from the lockdown in March is that playgrounds can stay open. A London immunologist thinks that is a mistake. We took him to a playground in West London to assess the risks. Nithya Rajan reports. And finally, were it not for COVID restrictions today, probably would have seen Londoners lining the streets to say a final farewell to Dame Barbara Windsor. Known to so many as Babs, she was laid to rest today at a scaled-back funeral with only those closest to her in attendance. But as Chloe Keeley reports, there are many tributes paid to London's leading lady, her talent and, of course, her famously charming and cheeky personality. Oh, the funeral of Dame Barbara Windsor, which took place today. Let's take a look at the weather now. Here's Aisling Creevy. And that is all from us for now. We are back with the latest after ITV News at 10. Coming up, Charlene White with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, bye-bye and stay safe.